Everyone has to do their job. Do your job.
All right. So, Jay, everybody did their job. National championship was a tight game.
Oh,
it was a tight game for a while.
Enjoyed it.
But then in the fourth quarter, the floodgates opened. And the heavens rained down a terrible rain upon Alabama.
That was very poetic.
It was all of the sorrow and the pain for 30 years.
Wow.
No, 40 years. 40 years of Georgia, 41 years of Georgia futility.
Yeah.
And just being silly, you don't think about it. I was like, Georgia's won a national title since they've had great players. And then you go back and you're like, no, they haven't. No, they really haven't. I don't even know where to start. I don't know. Is this a great coaching effort by Georgia, or was this just a collapse by Alabama?
Well, no, it wasn't a collapse by Alabama. They were missing stars out there. You had wide receivers not playing, even though they had new kids running out there. But you talk about two pretty evenly matched teams. Alabama had a much better quarterback, but Georgia just had the better overall team. And as we found out, speed kills. And you saw this Georgia defense able to fly around. They were able to bend, not break. Alabama was able to move the ball early, but they weren't able to get the ball into the end zone. And when you saw them coming away with field goals, I said, oh, this is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And so you just saw Georgia, after a while, just is a war of attrition. They just actually wore Alabama down after a while on both sides of the ball. I think had this been a game that was being played after both these teams had played 2 weeks before, consecutively, then I think Alabama would have won. But I think you just saw a team that had a full month to heal up, hydrate, run, do whatever they need to do to get in the best shape possible. And I just think you saw a Georgia team that just had more talent than Alabama, and it showed.
Yeah, well, you look at a team that going into the half, you had Georgia. It was a 9-6 game. Georgia scored one touchdown in the third, but it was the fourth that opened up the floodgates that ultimately doomed Alabama. And this funny part was you really thought after a turnover by Georgia that was going to be the thing that catapulted Alabama, and they were going to do great things, and it was going to be amazing. And, yeah, none of that happened. It went the whole other way, buddy. And, I mean, it was bad. When I mean it was bad, it was bad. It just kept getting worse and worse, and you kept saying to yourself, Bryce Young he's gonna pull on this thing out of his keister, and he's gonna do it there, buddy.
Well, you got to think about it. He left probably 150 yards on the field in drops. He had wide receivers who threw back shoulder balls to. A couple of them, these long balls, he literally ran up there and gave the wide receiver the ball in his hand, and they dropped it. So if you get a couple of those catches like that, I think I'm going to tell you what, had Alabama hit any of those big plays down there and jumped on Georgia early, I think this game would have been done. Because I don't think the quarterback from Georgia, had the ability to make a comeback under extreme pressure. But I think you just saw Bryce, who was just like, y'all ain't going to catch the ball. I'm going to keep throwing it out here. Y'all ain't catching it. I won the Heisman for a reason, and y'all still ain't catching the football. So I just think you just saw a lot of immaturity from Alabama's side. And you saw Georgia, who was well prepared, and the injury bug hadn't hit them as much as the injury bug hit Alabama. And obviously you had guys out there who weren't used to playing for Alabama, and you see what happened.
And it's kind of like the Indianapolis Colts when they got jumped on by the Jaguars. You didn't see this one coming. You didn't see a young man, and I'm almost certain at this point they're making up these names. I don't believe that there's a quarterback named Stetson Bennett. I don't. I don't believe that this young man is real. I believe they made that up this season for him to play. There's,
Yeah.
I mean, you might as well call him Buck Masterson. And that's what you should call him.
Buck Masterson.
It should just, I mean,
Buck Masterson.
There's no greater football name than Johnny Unitas. I think that's the greatest football name of all time because Johnny Unitas pulls us all together. Who else can unite us? Johnny can. Johnny Unitas with a cannon arm, blonde, short stalks of hair, and ready to attack at any point. Johnny Unitas. And now you got his kid.
You don't even know what Johnny Unitas looks like.
Yeah, well, I know this. I know his name isn't better than Stetson. I mean, this boy was named after his grandfather's bad cologne. This boy was actually named after the cologne that his grandparents had the night that his mother was conceived. I'm telling you how bad this is.
Maybe his grandfather was wearing that hat. No, it's Stetson. Possibility.
Rough Rider, cowboy, you.
Wow.
I'm going to tell you now.
DMX. Rough Rider.
So, okay, with all that said, is Georgia the better team?
Yeah, today.
Oh,
I don't know if you put it back out there with Alabama again when Alabama's full complement of players. I think if Alabama had both his wide receivers, it might have been a whole different story.
Could be. And are we sure that any of those players are going to get back to Alabama alive, to Tuscaloosa? Is Saban going to kill them all?
Well, I mean, the problem was I think he knew he was undermanned going in, but he needed these young guys to play big. Mm-hmm. Well, think about it. When Tua came in a couple of years ago and beat Georgia on that last-minute drive after he got sacked, wasn't that Devontae Smith he threw the ball to?
Right.
And I believe he was a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
So he needed a guy like that to come up big for him, and he just didn't have – those guys just didn't come up big for him.
Yeah, he had no Devonta Smiths. He had no Jalen Waddles. He had nothing out there. Yeah. Really, the best player they had maybe out there was their tight end at some point.
Yeah, he really didn't get going like they thought he was going to. I mean, you know, but what I think you saw is the reason why Georgia and Alabama are ranked number 1 and 2, because they got all the fastest guys in the NCAA playing for them. Mm-hmm. I mean, these defenses are so fast. These guys are so quick. It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't see any other teams in the country that have been able to play with either one of these teams out here. That's the reason why Michigan looked bad. Cincinnati looked bad.
Ooh, Michigan got smoked, son.
Because you don't have the athletes. That's why you start seeing teams like Notre Dame trying to recruit people up there to play for them because you don't have the athletes. If you can't get the Nick Saban type guys, the Kirby Smart type kids, if you can't get those kids, you ain't got a chance to win. That's why the Pac-12 has been so terrible. It's because they just cannot. If you think of all those kids out of California and those kids out the desert that can run, but you cannot get these kids to get on these teams. These 6'4", 225-pound guys that can run 4.4.
Yeah.
4.5. You can't fight. You don't have a whole team of those guys.
And it is kind of interesting. Once Jameson Williams suffered his knee injury, it changed the complexity of the game. I mean, you are already missing one half of their receiving core. And between the two of them, I think they accounted for something like 56, 57% of Alabama's receiving yards. So as you said,
right.
You're at a position now where you've got to get somebody to step up and step in. But I'm asking this question, Jay. Out of all the kids we saw out there, we saw good kids, and we saw some kids who were going to have a career in the NFL. But I don't remember seeing anybody that was great. was there somebody that was great? I don't remember seeing great running backs, great tight ends, great anything on either side.
The defensive end for Alabama was pretty doggone good. What's his name? 31. I think he was 31 or 33, whatever his number was.
Is he the rookie? No.
Yeah, he was really good. I thought that guy was really good. Couple of the big defensive lineman was pretty good for Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia has a huge defensive line.
Yeah, that kid was big and he was fast. You know, and running backs are a dime a dozen, like, you know, Alabama was running out there and stuff like that. You see those guys in the NFL all day, every day. So I didn't really see nothing super special by that. The Georgia running back was supposed to be super fast and got hawked down. So that's going to be a problem in the NFL. If you can't run away from the people in college, you darn sure not going to run away from people in the NFL. You know, unless you just, you know, unless you got Ibn Smith type moves or something like that, and you just, you know, break people down early. So, I mean, you got a few guys on there that's going to make some NFL rosters. That's going to happen, but you know, I mean, how many of them are going to make super impacts in the league? It's going to be, that's hard to say. I mean, you know, is Bryce Young, the Heisman Trophy winner? I mean, he's got a good arm. He could put, but is it enough for him to make to be able to translate that into the league? Don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot of little questions about them moving forward. You try and get some clarity, but this was just it was two good collegiate teams, but I don't see anybody that was great. I'm kind of pressed to say that there's somebody I saw that popped off the screen, and I said, aside from, as you said, there were a couple of ends who did their thing.
Yeah.
I was impressed with the size of Georgia's line and how they were able just to keep running guys at you.
Yeah.
Rotate in fresh bodies, but I didn't see anybody that made me say, ooh, I can't wait till he gets on the field in the NFL.
Yeah, that's just, I mean, Georgia they're able to recruit their own state and Florida. All those guys who used to end up at FSU, who used to end up at the University of Florida, end up in Georgia. You know, you remember when the Seminoles were that team,
right?
You know, you remember when Miami was that team. You know, the Hurricanes. Oh my God, Brian Cox and you know those type of people coming out of the Hurricanes. You know what I'm saying? But you don't get those type of players. Those type of players who are coming out of Dade County and places like that, those players end up in Georgia. And
well, I don't know. I just didn't see it. I didn't see it. So that always begs to the question, the game we play. Could your favorite college football team beat a professional team? So let's just take tonight's matchup between Alabama and Georgia. Could either one of those teams, as presently constructed on both sides, could they face a Chicago Bears team and win a game against the Chicago Bears?
So so I'll tell it to you like this. Chicago Bears lose the toss. No, Chicago Bears win the toss and they defer to the second half, okay? So they're kicking to Georgia. That's their day one, right? So they're kicking to Georgia. They kick the ball out of through the end zone, and Georgia gets the ball on the 25, right? Georgia at no point in time in this game passes the 50-yard line. No point in this game. No, at no point in this game does Georgia, they'll be lucky to get a couple first downs. Lucky to get a first down. Lucky. When I say lucky to get a first down. You got to understand that Georgia looks great because most of the people they're playing against are not going to make it in the NFL. 90%, 95% of the people, 98% of the people that they're playing against are not going to make an NFL roster. 98, 99% of them, I would say, even more, the more I think about it, right? When you play against the Chicago Bears, every one of those guys has made an NFL roster. That means he's the baddest of the bad, the coolest of the cool. He is ridiculously good. And if you got 3, 4, 5 years in the league, come on. And you're going to run a 19-year-old up against a 28-year-old who's got 6, 7 years in the league, bench pressing, tape watching, got baby mama drama. Come on. Come on. They going to send people home. They might need to line the ambulances up because people might get killed.
Well, for Georgia's side, you got linebackers like Dean and Anderson. They're pretty good. The only one I think out of what I saw was D tackle Jordan Davis. Now, number 99, he's going to be in a rotation somewhere in the league.
Now think about this one though, all right?
Mm-hmm.
You get a guy like that, now he's coming up against, now, these NFL tackles will probably, unless a guy is definitely NFL bound, like top pick NFL bound, it's going to be able to block those guys one-on-one, right? So now if you have a big boy in the middle acting a fool, what's going to happen? They're going to start running at him, and they're going to double the hell out of him. They're going to double him and beat him to death, right? They're going to down block him, every other type of blocking you can think of, every other trick you can think of, they're going to do to him, everything, and they're going to beat him up because that's what they do because they ain't scared of you. Oh, you from Georgia? Dude, I've been, man, I got a $15 million crib I got to pay for. I got 3 baby mamas out here,
Multiple baby mothers. And
I got, you
got house notes. I got to pay for my mama's house note, my wife's house note, my side chick's house note,
man, come on,
and my homeboy that goes and gets my Jordans hand washed.
Right.
I got to pay for his house too.
Come on. You what? Come on, man. Come on. I got, man. I play my own position on 2K, man. I'm at 2K. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, man. And you barely get enough per diem money. You can go to Taco Bell a couple times a week. Man, I'm about to put this on you. No. They wouldn't pass 50-yard line. They would get lucky to pass 50-yard line. They'd be a beat down. It would be a severe beat down. They might stop the game by halftime.
I don't think there's a mercy rule. Is there a mercy rule in this?
There would be. Because you got to think everybody on an NFL roster was all everything wherever you played at.
Right.
Mostly all of them. You got very few of those guys come in there and it wasn't all everything. Right. So they were all, all conference, all this, all American this, all this, that, and other, all everything. And they're all, you got all these all Americans, all these all, Big Tens, Pac-10s, SWAC, number one SWAC player. They probably hold all the school records for their high school. They probably hold records at the college level at their school. They set a record because that's all these guys are playing on the same team. And they're playing against you. Georgia.
Georgia.
I mean, you got 3 or 4 guys that are going to make the league, but not out of your 22-man roster. Your starters out there, it's about 4 or 5 of those guys are going. If you're Georgia, 4 or 5 of those guys are going to make it stick in the league. 4 or 5. But everybody that you're playing against on the NFL team is in the league.
Right.
They're going to whip you behind.
You're right about that. We always tease about that, but it's something when you see it. You see a 33-18 game for Alabama. Alabama thought they were going to be in control after the second half. It didn't work. And then things started to snowball. This is against your peers in college. These aren't against grown men. This isn't against the Aaron Rodgers of the world. This isn't against the Tom Bradys who will pick and dissect every part, every coverage you think you can run. They see it, they know it, they'll be able to throw in and out of it.
Right, and they're going to walk up to the line and go, hey, 52, I know you blitzing. You going here, you doing this over here. I'm throwing the ball right there. 874, I'm letting you know right now, you might as well not even rush. You ain't going to get to me in time. And I'm throwing the ball right there on that hash mark right there where you guys are standing at. Ain't nothing you're going to be able to do about it.
Yeah. And I don't think Stetson can say that. Not yet.
No. Stetson just happy to be there. Hey, the guy's from Georgia, lives in Georgia. He'll probably run for government in Georgia. Stetson might be, 10 years from now, we look up and he'll be president of the United States. President Stetson.
That's it. With such foolery, we're gonna go.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yippee-ki-yay to all of the Georgia players. Congratulations. Congrats. Alabama, keep your head up. You guys did a great job. If Nick Saban made you walk home, you probably deserved it. But other than that,
all the Alabama players, man, they got money. They all walked out there and got into their cars. They got in. I mean, think of what their parking lot looks like at Alabama.
It's too depressing.
I mean, there might even be a Bugatti out there. Somebody might have came out here and drive a Bugatti, man, for a little while. Because now you can do that. Hey, you playing here. Here's the Bugatti, you know what I'm saying? Come on, use the mansion whenever you get ready to. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous.
I don't like it. You know who it is. You know what it is. It's the Sizzle here in the building. He's Jay Sizzle. I'm G Sizzle. And this is the Sizzle, always bringing it to you, the hottest in the 219, the hottest anywhere on the planet. We are the Sizzle, and we will see you, my friend, on the other side.
Wow, that was really quick. Kaboom in there.
I just wanted to boom for the people.
Right, that was a boom. That was a pooter boom.
Okay, that's it. We're out.
Make sure that you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Iron Skillet Sports. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to Iron Skillet Sports on YouTube at Iron Skillet Sports.